So what should we do? We should
Uh,
be happy with this kind of treatment.
no, I think we'll have to do something more for that for him.
What
Uh,
is that more?
uh, Correction of his claw deformity, sir, and
By
improve that we can do it by going for a modified style bundles procedure, sir,
Mhm.
wherein the FDS of the middle finger is harvested and
Mhm.
divided into 4 slips and
Mhm. So you are
delivered
talking
through.
about the tendon transfer.
Yes, sir. Tendon transfer.
Okay, maybe foretel FDS transfer.
Yes, sir.
That is the tendon transfer you want to give
Yes,
him. But
yes, sir.
any other thing you would like to suggest before jumping into the tendon transfer? Tendon transfer can be done later on, even after
Yes,
our primary nerve surgery has failed.
primary. Yes, sir.
Anything you want to do?
Maybe we can even plan for a nerve transfer, sir.
Yeah, which nerve transfer?
Um, AI anterior nerve to the D branch of to the ulnar nerve, sir, motor branch of ulnar nerve,
Yeah,
ulnar
we
nerve,
can do
basically.
that.
No,
Means we
no. Be
take the,
specific. Be specific. Be specific.
yeah, which branch? Dr.
Which branch?
Radhakrishnan says which branch of AIN?
Uh, the one
See,
uh,
Fayaz,
posterior
Fayaz, the
pronator
idea,
quadratus.
Exactly.
Fayaz, the idea of
Yes, sir.
the idea of doing a distal nerve transfer in this kind of cases is to minimize the recovery time and to activate the motor end plate as early as possible. Okay,
Possible.
so you should choose
Yes,
a distal nerve transfer, and the distance should be closer to the distal most muscle which is being innervated,
yes, yes,
especially in hand, because
yes,
the longer duration of palsy and smaller muscles which has to function dexterous movements more dexterous movements, all these things go against a primary nerve repair.
yes,
So
sir.
anything we can do via media in between, so we can try to do that.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
so
sir.
you have to choose a
Distal nerve.
appropriate nerve transfer, distal nerve
Yes,
transfer.
sir.
Okay, so
So, yeah, please.
where do you take the pronator nerve to?
Uh, the pronator quadratus nerve is taken to the D branch, sir. D branch of ulnar nerve, sir.
No. Okay, where do you anastomosis?
One should be very careful. It identify that T branch, okay?
Yes, sir.
Because it has got a sensory component, it has got dorsal sensory branch, it has got D motor nerve. So we have to be very sure about selection of D motor branch of the ulnar nerve. And generally this branch is initially it is identified below the means Guine's canal. Okay, from here we trace it upwards and then we join it with the pronator quadratus branch near about the wrist. So this is where we can expect early, innervation of the intrinsic muscles. And the other nerve transfer is sensory nerve transfer for these kind of cases, in which we can join the sensory branch of
Median nerve.
ulnar nerve to the common palmar distal nerve, third one.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, so that may give sensation, because sensation is very important part on the ulnar side
Yes.
especially. So in
Protective
this way
sense.
we can do the nerve repairs, means primary nerve surgery by nerve grafting plus nerve transfers. Now then we'll wait for the nerve recovery to take place. If this doesn't take place, then of course we have got the backup of
Tendon transfers.
tendon
Yeah,
transfer.
Dr. Bandari,
Yeah,
Fayaz,
Yes, sir. Tell me.
Dr. Bandari is stressing about the sensory nerve transfer.
Yes, sir.
How is that important for your future backup?
The sensory area supplied by the ulnar nerve is basically protective in sensation, protective in nature, sir.
Okay. So how is that important for your later backup? In other words, What are the prerequisites for a tendon transfer?
Uh, there should be a supple joint, sir.
Hmm.
No contractures,
Hmm.
and also there should be soft tissue equilibrium, sir.
Hmm.
And also um, the
Protective sensation.
Sir?
Protective sensation, if it is there, then it is better, no?
Yes, sir. Ulcers and all that. I mean, you can prevent trophic changes, sir.
Yes. So it will be better for a tendon transfer. So that's why for your backup plan, you should always plan little ahead and then go in for the sensory transfer also.
Yes, sir.
When you do a distal motor nerve transfer, if it goes hand in hand with the sensory nerve transfer, it will later help you in case you want to jump in for your backup plan. Understood?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So anything about the case, this case presentation, or we should proceed to the next?
Yeah, only one question. What is Gaines canal syndrome?
Sir, entrapment of the ulnar nerve within the Goyon's canal between the pisohamate ligament, sir.
Between the pisohamate ligament, or between the pisohamate ligament and underneath what?
The hook of hamate, sir.
So what will you do?
You'll have to release the ligament, sir. For
is it that easy? Have you seen the branching pattern of the ulnar nerve? The Gaines canal?
No, sir, I have not.
See, the branching patterns are there. About 2 to 3 types of branching patterns are there. You should be very careful about the nerve also.
Okay, sir.
What is handlebar palsy? Bicycle handlebar palsy. Anybody?
Because of the handlebar, the person will be pressing. I mean, like he'll be always radially deviating the hand, sir. So that will again cause compression at the same area, sir.
Yeah, that is usually common in regular cyclists who cycle for long distances. Gaines canal compression is very common in them. So this is called as handlebar palsy. You should be aware of that. Yes. What are the other differential diagnoses for a claw hand that you should bear it in mind? Suppose yes. No. I'm just asking. The leprosy is the etiology for claw hand.
Yes.
There is a flexion of the IP joint and extension of the. This typical flying attitude of the fingers. What are all the conditions in which you get similar flexion deformities?
Median nerve injury, median nerve palsy.
No. In ulnar nerve itself, ulnar nerve, mimicking ulnar nerve palsy. Can you get it in Dupuytren's? Dupuytren's. Similar attitude will be there. Attitude. Fires.
Not sure, sir.
See, similar attitude will be there. There will be a flexion and deformity. Similar thing is there will be a nodule there in the palmar fascia. So that differentiates it from this one.
Yes. Okay. Sir.
And Workman's ischemic contractures.
Workman's ischemic also possible. Yes.
Possible. Postburn contracture deformities.
Postburn contracture also possible.
Yeah. Similar deformities I'm just telling.
Yes. Yes.
When you see the deformities, you can.
It can other causes for the similar deformities.
Congenital camptodactyly can also present with the similar deformities.
Right.
I'm talking only about the differential diagnosis for the deformities as such.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Understood? So
yes,
you should rule out all these things. In this case, obviously, there is an injury.
Yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes.
Sometimes there may be toxic palsies coming to you. What is toxic palsies? Usually cases will be referred from neurology department and all. You will get this lead kind of palsy and other
heavy
metal. Such cases you may not find out any obvious
cause.
Cause. So all these things will come in together, and of course there are, as you said, leprosy is this one.
Yes,
this kind of palsies, and you have small muscle wasting in different way. Based on the wasting, you can have motor neuron disease and other things from neurology.
Yes.
You have to include in your differential diagnosis. But of course, the typical clawing attitude has to be differentiated from other things with all the signs in the background. Yeah. Yes, Dr. Bandari, you can.
Yeah, so then we should now proceed to
Yes.
the next.
Just one. Anything else further in this particular one, sir? You want to discuss anything about physiotherapy, post-op physiotherapy, or something?
Yeah, I think I saw one question also here.
Yeah, because there are
from
few
Dr.
questions that have come up.
Lokraj. He wants to know what should be the post-op physiotherapy program. Yes, Fayaz. Suppose you have done the nerve repair. Okay?
Yes, sir.
You have done the proximal nerve repair. You have done the proximal nerve grafting.
Yes, sir.
And distal nerve transfer. Okay? Now, what kind of post-op physiotherapy program will be?
So there should be absolute immobilization for the first 3 weeks, sir. In an above elbow slab, above elbow dorsal slab with elbow in flexion. This should be followed by gradual active mobilization of the after the 3 weeks. After the 3 weeks, he should go for a gradual active mobilization of the elbow and the wrist and the MCP joint, sir.
And if you have done the tendon transfer surgery, then you have done, suppose, FDS 4-tail transfer.
Yes, sir. In that case, still the immobilization is there for 3 weeks, sir. Following this, there should be a gradual mobilization of the IP joints.
What about MP joints?
Yes, sir. IP and MCP joints also, sir.
So you believe in the late mobilization of, means after 3 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Many of the surgeons, they want to do active mobilization, just after even 24 to 48 hours after the surgery, so that the adhesion formations are not there. Do you know about that?
Yes, sir.
There have been many articles on that.
Yes, sir. Injuries, I mean, usually for like after tendon repair and all that, we usually follow an early mobilization, early active mobilization, basically.
What kind of protocol is being followed in your center? You should adhere to that, because you have seen that, you have followed the results of those cases.
Yes.
And so you'll have more idea about that. So what kind of protocol is followed? It's a late mobilization or an early mobilization?
Sir, basically we do early passive mobilization, sir.
Early passive when? How early?
With after about 24 to 48 hours, we usually start, sir.
Then you should say we are doing the early passive mobilization, not the late.
Yes, sir. Okay. I was thinking in view of tendon transfer, I thought maybe
in MCH exam or in DNB plastics exam, you must say the protocol which your center is following and adhere to that.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't divert.
Yes, sir.
You adhere to that, because you know, you have seen that. You have seen the results also of that kind of protocol. So you adhere to that. Don't get yourself, don't get just because the examiner says that you should not divert.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Any from other faculties, any questions?
Is there any, suppose, hello, Fayaz?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you.
Suppose you do, as you say, you do a less than 3 centimeter defect, you do a nerve repair or whatever it is, 6 months or 7 months duration, borderline duration.
Okay, sir.
How would you prevent the contractures of the, because it will take some time for the nerve to re-innervate.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how do you will you prevent the contractures and other things?
We'll have to use a splint, sir. Something like a knuckle bender splint.
Okay.
To prevent the clawing, sir. and keep the IP joints in extension and MCP in flexion.
What kind of knuckle bender you want to use?
So the one, sir, IP joints will be kept in extension and MCP in flexion, sir.
It has to be kept like that, no?
Yes, sir.
The patient has to move it, isn't it? To keep
Yes,
it like that. So when such a thing is happening in the movement, what kind of splint it is? When you use the splint, and the movement also should happen simultaneously.
Okay, that's
Dynamic.
Dynamic.
Yeah. Dynamic knuckle bender.
Knuckle bender.
It's not a static knuckle bender.
Yes.
It is a dynamic knuckle
Knuckle
bender,
bender.
which you want to use. Suppose if it is along with you have both median and ulnar nerve palsies, total claw hand.
Yes, sir.
What else you will add to that? Any other splint you would like to?
We have to, sir, the thumb has to be kept in adduction, sir.
Adduction? Already it will be in adduction only.
Okay.
How will you prevent contractures? Adduction contracture is notorious to occur.
Yes, sir. Simian hand is there, sir. Actually,
Simian hand will be there. So how will you prevent that?
It has to be kept in abduction, sir. Sorry.
How do you prevent that? How do you keep that? You should try to add an opposition splint. Understood?
Yes,
abduction, opposition splint.
Yes, sir.
That you should keep it. This is by external splinting.
Yes, sir.
Suppose if it is a ulnar nerve injury, today you repair, waiting for the things to come. Patient is a white collared professional who doesn't want to wear the splint. How will you splint?
We can do something like an internal splinting, sir.
What is it?
That is like an early tendon transfer, sir. The tendon transfer is done right at the time when the repair is the nerve coaptation is done. Just immediately after that, we are doing. During the same procedure only, we are doing it.
What are the things you use? What are the things you don't want to happen?
Basically, you're augmenting or augmenting the function of the muscles that have already been denervated or paralyzed, sir. So during the time when the nerve is regenerating, you're helping it to function at an earlier stage.
Yes. So what are the tendons you use? Any other person?
Tendons that you can use are and ECRB can be used, sir. Which can be attached to a tendon graft and connected to the radial lateral bands.
So what is the idea of internal splinting? To prevent?
To prevent contractures, basically, sir.
Contractures, basically. Okay. So that once the nerve regenerates, so it is a temporizing procedure. You are not doing end-to-end anastomosis of tendons. You are trying to do only end to side or where you want, you introduce the tendon.
Yes.
Okay. So once the purpose is served, you may take it off also later.
Okay.
Okay. So it is a temporizing procedure. And you prevent the contractures and the other complications so that these things are prevented and taken care of.
Yes.
Also, how will you, what is the advice you will give it to those patients? Sensory, you have done a sensory component transfer.
Yes, sir.
What will you tell the patient? Patient is coming to you.
He should take care of the area supplied by that nerve. Like he should prevent from any injuries because stroke changes are common in that.
Yes.
So moisturizing the area and even taking extra precaution not to get an injury done.
Protection and preventive measures should be told to the patient. Okay. So that there won't be any injury or the trophic ulcers developing in that area. Okay. So it's a complete management.
Yes, yes.
You should go in for. Okay. Yes, Dr. Bandari, you can.
So I just
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can.
there are few stats that
this
has come out.
patient is 23-year-old who has got 9 months old injury higher up, this means above the elbow. And what we have decided in this case is we should do the grafting of that injury. That will give sensation in the ulnar nerve distribution. At the same time, because he's a young patient, in the borderline 9 months, we should do the distal nerve transfer.
Yes, sir.
If the results are not satisfactory after waiting for certain period of time, then we should go for tendon transfer.
Yes, sir.
Now, suppose if this patient is of little, age, his age is 35 or 40 years, okay, and he comes after 12 months of injury,
Yes.
then do you think that we should adhere to the same treatment or we should change our strategy?
We may have to change our strategy, sir, because one is because the patient is a little older. Uh, After coaptation, we cannot expect the recovery how we can expect in a younger individual. So
Hmm.
maybe even if we give a nerve transfer, also it may not help him much.
Hmm.
Um, and at the same time, chances for contractures are also higher for that patient.
Hmm.
So a procedure something like a capsulodesis may be more
No,
helpful.
he has got supple joints.
Full joints.
Okay. He's got supple joints. MP joints are supple. My question is whether we should adhere to the same treatment or we should change it.
We
14
still have
months,
to
14
we'll,
months old injury.
yes, sir. We'll still have to do the nerve repair and go for tendon transfer at
I
that time.
think that will be a better choice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because after 14 months, chances of even distal nerve transfer
Distal nerve transfer is not.
will not be good. Okay, so that should be the proper treatment. So any questions from the other teachers?
So we have got a couple of questions from the audience.
Should we do
Some
now
people
or
have-
what? Yeah, you can take over the questions, I think, because time
yeah.
is also a limit. We have got 3 more.
Yeah, we will quickly finish off this and then we will go to your talk,
I
sir.
think you pick up the questions, important questions which you think.
Yeah.
And,
So one of the
yeah.
questions was, how will you choose dynamic or static procedures of tendon transfer according to Bowier's test in claw hand?
Yeah, Fayaz.
If Bowier's test is positive, it means that the patient requires only MCP joint flexion. Rather, when you do Bowier's test positive, when you stabilize the MCP joint, he can extend his IP joints. So in that case, ideally for those patients, you can get away with just with a static procedure.
See, Fayaz,
Yes, sir. Yes.
there are two components to the Bowier's test. Okay. When Bowier's test, when you stabilize the MCP joint, and if the patient, what will the patient do? He has to
try to extend the IP joints.
extend the IP joint. Okay. If he extends the IP joint, then the static procedure will go full good.
Will go.
Suppose even after stabilizing the MCP joint, the patient does not extend the IP joint. That means a dynamic extrinsic extensor is needed.
Needed, yes, sir.
Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So then you'll have to do a dynamic transfer.
Transfer.
Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I think you have been very clear as well. There's another question. I think this will be the last question that we will be taking. Should something be done for thumb adduction and index finger abduction in ulnar nerve cases?
Yes. If the patient is having a problem with a key pinch, he is predominantly complaining about the key pinch, then in that case, you will have to go for improving the function, improving the key pinch. So there are various procedures that have been described to improve that, such as a Smith's transfer, wherein he used the extensor carpi radialis brevis with a tendon graft, and it is attached to the adductor pollicis tendon, or even the adductor tubercle.
What is the question, Sandeep?
Should something be done for thumb adduction and index finger abduction in ulnar palsy cases?
See, there are yes. See, there are procedures described, and we also do. See, we do Pallondes five-tailed tendon transfer. You know, Fayaz, what is it?
Yes, sir.
Pallondes procedure.
Yes,
what is
sir.
it?
There we use the ECRB as the motor unit, and connect it to a tendon graft with 5 tails, either using a TFL or Palmaris longus. And then these 5 tails are attached to the are kept in the intermetacarpal spaces basically, and the first tail goes and it goes and loops around the introchae muscles, so that when the motor unit is activated, the patient can get the reversal of the metacarpal arch is also corrected in that case, and also he gets a better grip because the adduction.
See, there are 5 tails. Where are those 5 tails going?
The first tail goes into the first intermetacarpal space and loops around the first dorsal introchae. The second one between the second dorsal introchae and the first palmar introchae. Like that, third and fourth, and the fifth one goes and attaches to the abductor digiti minimi.
See, this is like this. See, when you see a charioteer pulling 5 horses together, you understand?
Yes, sir.
This is the analogy here.
Yes,
that's what I can quote it here.
Yes.
See, it should be in unison. So one you give it at the for the abduction, for the thumb. Okay. Then one you give it for the abductor digiti minimi to motorize that, so that the little finger goes in for abduction. Rest of the 3 things in between the common tendon, where the palmar and dorsal introchae come together. There at the junction, you have to attach it. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So it is mainly this kind of tendon transfer is mainly done for our country people, especially who wants to
hold the food,
and hold the full mouth of food with the hand, and also to squeeze the food in between the ulnar and radial side with the cup of the hand. Understood?
Yes, sir.
You understand? All of you understand? So you should, if you want to, if the necessities are such that, then you may have to go in for such procedure. Ulnar nerve tendon transfers and ulnar nerve are a little tricky in the sense the patient has to be re-educated, and most of the tendon transfers are done based on the demand and the occupation of the patient and the learning ability of the patient and avidity and ability of the patient. So when he wants, we should assess whether really he wants, what kind of occupation he is doing, what kind of thing is there. Accordingly, you can plan surgeries. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So the case presentation is over.